today's package, Akwa Ibom residents join global counterparts to celebrate 2024 Father's Day with pomp and ceremony. Effort to rid Ibom Plaza of criminals, Akwa Ibom government clears bush at former Uyo main market. Wife of State Governor storms Ibanao for anti-GBV advocacy campaign. And befitting living or expensive funeral, which should citizens opt for? Details of these and other stories will come your way in just a moment. Good afternoon, welcome to Akbc 405 News at noon. I am Blessing Isongyo. Yesterday was Father's Day, a day set aside to celebrate fathers and fatherhood around the world. To mark the day, some churches as well as organizations dressed to depict fatherhood and spoke on what it takes to be fathers.
Of that responsibility. When you try to put people in line, for me, it's also the impact, the result that come, and how we can help people shape their life and point them in the right direction. And we must encourage every father to take that responsibility.
Remember in our subconsciousness that we are fathers and we have huge responsibility to keep our family together, train the children the way they should go, as the Bible says. And of course, we also father to the entire family.
You can see my attire. This is to reflect how I feel. Excited, happy. It's not. It's a big privilege to be a father, and we appreciate it.
Well, fathers are meant to be role models and examples to their children, to the sons, how they should live with their own wives when they grow, to the daughters, an example of what they expect from their husbands. So basically, when they understand they are meant to be role models, they live better lives and they're intentional about what they do.
The roles of a father are quite immense. Quite immense because the responsibility of shaping society, I think, rests solely on the fathers. If the father does not know what is expected of him first, he cannot lead his family aright.
One may ask, who is a father? A father is a head of the family, a mentor, a provider, and protector. All these attributes can only be given to a good and responsible father. As a man, what kind of father are you? Are you the one that can only bring a life to the world but cannot take care of it? Do you have what it takes to become a responsible father?
That God is on our side because He called us to this responsibility. I know that He has also equipped us. All we need to do is to look inward because the strength is there, and then we will launch out in
As I've already said, it gives me a cause to get back, remember that as a father, I'm a father, and I'm happy because we rarely have fathers. We celebrate more.
How do you feel today being Father's Day celebration?
Well, awesome. Great to have people appreciate the little you do, and we feel honored, we feel happy that God has considered us part of that dream. Take your assignment seriously, make the best out of it, and a happy Father's Day.
Congratulations, 2024 celebration of Father's Day. Congratulations to fathers, and I pray and I encourage them to keep the faith, do what is expected of them.
God has made them to remain, and ask God for grace to take on the assignment that God has given them as the male gender to put forward. Every man is created for purpose, and I believe and pray that every man will be able to achieve that purpose.
In all, happy Father's Day to all fathers and would-be fathers. Following the directive of Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino on June edition of Government House Prayer to read the state of criminals and their activities, the Akwa Ibom State government has cleared a thick forest at the former Uyo main market, which served as a hideout for hoodlums and criminals. Our Government House reporter Otobimo Okon, who witnessed the clearing Sunday morning, reports that shrines had drugs like Indian hemp plants together with debris of decomposed human body were discovered by the officials of Uyo Capital City Development Authority.
People who passed through Ibom Plaza Sunday morning noticed the presence of Akwa Ibom State government clearing the fenced area of the former Uyo main market, Etuk Street by Akar Road. It is alleged that the place, which has become a thick bush, has recently been used as hideout by hoodlums in perpetrating criminal activities. It could be recalled that the governor on June Prayer Summit directed the Ministry of Internal Security and Waterways to take action by ensuring that the facility which links Etuk Street, Nyongesien, Aka and Oron Road be cleared and security mounted to rid the areas of hoodlums who occupy the facility for illegal activities, including phone thefts, sales of hard drugs, and rape, as well as other criminal activities. Speaking while clearing the area, the Commissioner for Internal Security and Waterways, General Kokwesien, said the intention of government was to clear the area for the safety of those staying there or doing business. Essien, who was accompanied by the Transition Chairman, Uyo Local Government, Dr. Wemedi Modo, and the Chairman, Uyo Capital City Development Authority, UCCDA, Mr. Nieteka, said, since the movement of the former Uyo main market to Akpanade market, the area where the state government fenced had become a bush and therefore served as hideout for hoodlums to perpetrate criminal activities.
You'll be aware that since this market moved to Akpanade, and then Plaza became like the major market around here, because this place has turned into a bush, so to speak, a lot of the hoodlums that perpetrate criminality around Plaza and this general area, they come into this place to hide. When we arrived here, if you were here, you would have seen that we brought them a couple of shanties that they built inside, in between the trees. We even saw a shrine. So we were asking ourselves, what do they do in this place? Do they bring people in, make sure they take oath never to say where they are? We saw a lot of things that gave us the impression that they could even kidnap people and bring them here, take their ATMs, go and wipe out their accounts, and then nobody gets to know. And it's right here in the heart of the city. So by His Excellency's concerns and directives, we are here together to make sure that we clear this place and keep it open. At some point, government is going to make good use of this place, but until then, let it not be a den for criminals, and that's why
It is believed that with the clearing of the area, government will stem the tide of criminality around the plaza and environs. Utami Okon, Akbc News.
Parents who abandon and label their children witches henceforth are to face stiffer punishment by the Akwa Ibom State government. The wife of the state governor, Pastor Patience Umoino, handed down the information when the State Gender-Based Violence Management Committee, in collaboration with the State Ministry of Justice, visited Ibana Local Government Council Secretariat for GBV sensitization. Margaret Bassey reports.
Pastor Patience Eno, who noted that Nigeria is currently in court in South Africa pertaining to cases of labeling children as witches, frowned at the act and described it as a crime punishable by law. Represented by the Secretary, State Gender-Based Violence Management Committee, Barrister Ememete, the governor's wife helped that rape, either in setting of private parts, hand or objects, attract life imprisonment, listed other crimes punishable by law to include child abandonment, attack with harmful substance, forceful ejection from home, spousal battery, harmful widowhood practices, and administering a substance with intent. She urged parents to include their female children when sharing inheritance, also charged women to add value to their lives by engaging in progressive ventures.
Government does not want to hear that kind of story again. Anybody know from now, as you go in the case, you abogate reform, we are going to come after that person. And that is why you have the police here, you have the civil defense here, and you have all the security agencies. Please, if you have children, make sure you take care of your children. Don't abandon your children for other people to suffer.
In a welcome remark, the transition chairman, Ibadan Local Government Council, Elder Emma Ibok, represented by the vice chairman, Mr. Ikoidem Ekong, appreciated the State Gender-Based Violence Management Committee for prioritizing the interests of those maimed and abused because of their gender incapacitation, expressing his desire to be at the forefront of activities targeted at correcting the abnormalities in the locality.
At the end of this program, Mbani Achi, Nito Fongwen, Negudo well equipped so that Monamuka, Moika, Miruna Mochichi, Eka Fongwen Chichi, Nina Eka Bomb, Etaleno, Nitochi, Ufongwen, Etaleno, Nitochi, Kiro, especially Nitopane.
Others who spoke were the wife of Ibadan Transition Chairman, Mrs. Francisca Emma Ibok, and the Ibadan Divisional Police Officer, who lauded the commitment of Pastor Patience Umoino in intensifying the campaign throughout the month of June to ensure the safety and well-being of victims, as well as the prosecution of perpetrators.
When they go I'm so that the possibility
as we have been directed, we have brainstormed, ideas have been shared. We as police officers, when we get or we arrest any culprit, we say to them.
High points of the event was the presentation of copies of a referral pathway document and the simplified version of the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Law 2020 to the wife of the transition chairman, Mrs. Francisca Ibok, for onward distribution to stakeholders and leaders of various groups. Margaret Bassi, Akbc News.
It's another season of mouth organ. How do you like your corn? Stay on for this report after the break. Glad to have you back. According to the Holy Book in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1, there are times and seasons for everything on earth. The reason humans and plants, including maize, have their seasons. Maize is one crop planted in this part seasonally and ripened mostly on rainy season, that is between May and July. This sweet, nutritious crop, when harvested, is processed into different food or eaten with other things like pear as a whole meal. As another season of maize emerges, Eyakeno Paul in this report takes a look at the hygienic condition of preparing maize, especially the roasted ones, and why maize cannot be cultivated all year round in Akwa Ibom, according to an agriculturist.
Maize, called corn in some countries, and abakpa in Akwa Ibom with the botanical name Z maize, is a cereal grain that was first planted by ancient Central Americans, according to research. Now planted in Africa and Nigeria, maize takes about 2 to 3 months to produce fruit, the edible part of the maize. Locally, maize is commonly used to produce pap, ogi, flour, snacks, cereals, starch, asabakba, that is maize porridge, itemebakba, ikoki, popcorn, industrial alcohol, and it is also boiled or roasted. Respondents say why they eat and like maize.
Mewu simin ke megidi de pare no complete ku fo e be de gukoro bi e be de subsidize e de be ne dia de part of dia ku fo
ale ma ta ga ni ga ma ta ka o me ta ri nya o mi ta se fu da ga pian.
It is worthy of note that maize in other places is used in production of vegetable oil, while the stalks are used in making rayon, plastics, paper, and wall boards. In Akwa Ibom, maize is given nicknames such as the mouth organ, 6 to 6, catchy and cool, Ndidiandi Towene, Ada Gobi Nemesek, and most people prioritized cooked and roasted by vendors on the roadside. When we surveyed the point of sales of these corns, it was discovered that the vendors used their bare hands to turn them during roasting, while some buyers also touched almost all on the roasting rack in a bid to choose their best. For the cooked maize, the vendors peel with bare hands for the customers. Is this practice hygienic at all? Aside the hygienic condition, maize is consumed with other accessories like pear, coconut, tapioca, eritaiwa, gari, among others, according to my respondents. It is also observed that the maize business may be lucrative judging by the number of sellers. Say approximately 20 vendors could be seen in a small area. How are the sellers coping with the competition? Now, since almost everyone eats and loves maize, can it be planted all year round? And what are the planting processes?
In Akwa Ibom State, you can only cultivate maize 2 times in a year. That is during the first season planting, which starts from middle of March to May. Then again, you can crop it again around September during the second season planting. You can only plant maize 2 times because irrigation facility is not available. But up in where there is irrigation, maize can be planted up to 3 times.
To achieve bumper harvest, the Director of Agriculture in the Akwa Ibom State Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Solomon Joe, gives answers to these questions.
Maize can yield very well when you plant it with good agronomic practices. The soil must be well drained, not waterlogged, because it does not tolerate drought nor too much water. You can use a planting distance of 75 cm by 50 cm. You put 2 of the maize seed in 1 hole. After that, you will have to apply fertilizer. However, in soils that are good, you don't need the fertilizer.
Anyhow, maize is important because of its health benefits. It is good source of income, sweet to consume, but must be properly and hygienically processed. Enjoy your mouth organ while it lasts, hoping that in the near future it will be an all-year-round food.
Pastor, Kennedy, bangin lea ki mi kat ke nye nam ki chen fe ni fan e pora ni si kara ki le bibi korum imi ko na nye bo ke nye di e pora kami ba adi fisiri ban ya nye ngodo umi ayo ke ni fisit nyan.
Happy mess season. Eyageno Paul.
Nowadays, when someone is bereaved of a loved one, especially parents, average or aged, the first thing that comes to mind is money to give the deceased befitting burial, resulting in an expensive funeral. To the rich, this may not really be a problem, but the Nigerian society does not want to know the gap between the poor and the rich, the reason people try to level up in the so-called befitting burial. In order to call a burial befitting, there must be enough food, drinks, expensive caskets, mostly white, souvenirs, live bands, and beautiful decorations. But is this necessary? Should befitting burial take the place of a befitting living? I cannot pause on the opinion of people in the States on this.
There has been a long-age standing culture of burying the dead in accordance with the tradition in those parts of the globe. These traditions cut across religion, ritual rites, depending on the deceased age, gender, social class, and cause of death. Some of these rites are accompanied by lavish spending, while others are moderate, but majority strive to draw attention across each community and are centered on spending millions on coffins, food, drinks, brass or live bands, and other things. Studies reveal that many people borrow to impress the rich celebrities, politicians, the business class, and the elite they invited to the funeral. But when and how did we get here?
Utom komisi ba nung dikerken fenen awoya kwa kamisong enyama fen pondre bugo we market at the end of the day we do one door sometimes when I go for because sometimes some afoka na fe nge
to oge yenyene mi ongem nege nikro was meti da item nege pa around 80 something ndikete ndenye nyami ko rinambe rabli mai ngi nam ku kemese ba se ki no nyen but ida mi mewe ngo ke nyanya mi ko already when they are alive and I reserve got kid or reserve for so they make bam the
there is no specific timing as to when we got here, but it has to do with the seasons. I cannot bear my mind to the particular year that it started.
In time past, funeral was not given the kind of importance they attract now, maybe because the community and friends were expected to gift the bereaved family cash, firewood, pots of water, cassava, etc. Like they say, unlike now, where the reverse is the case and the bereaved have to impress the guest. What is the real reason behind expensive funerals?
Everybody lives a competitive life, and this life of I belong. Mr. A is doing it, I have to follow and do it.
It all goes to show the extent of pride that is in such a heart. Yeah, because some of them just do that as, showmanship, just to show people that they are rich. Whereas those things don't mean anything. First and foremost, the dead had gone. And so what's the essence of borrowing money to buy expensive casket, and then the casket will even be stolen by thieves?
I can but I can need you. In my tell you for
to notice me. I do eye service, petition, and I'm not. Things are very hard. Expensive burial is not necessary.
Is it necessary to spend a fortune in burying the dead when the deceased did not have a befitting living?
I believe in befitting living. And you know, there are some cultural interplay in this thing. When you are dead, they have to go consulting, and they will come out with a long list, come and give us good to tell us that your father is dead. You know, sometimes this list, before you can buy all the things in the list, you must have spent so much money.
Why me made a weakness of burial? I don't go. It I come here back when I mean I'm going to take a kiss and with. I think in a mammy body, I get it back. Almost two. I'm a yes, it works if everybody fought. Mammy is a you. Later, mammy get it back for the kid burial, saying on to I bank it's a burial. You get it come for back with him. I get into I get it for no night I come for, but I will make him for. And I make sure he make a money. You don't hear mark back. I forget what I wouldn't know to sometime mad or mark back with him. Attack on I make a nita. But you say you back. I forget when I'm not.
In some foreign countries with better socio-economic status, burials are conducted with no fanfare. Can't we
from doing all those things and bury their people in a very normal way and keep on going with life?
I think the message should go to our traditional leaders. Even if they keep on, I don't buy yes, but we can also change the things that they did that are not good with us. Ensure that you have the caskets. It does not necessarily have to be imported caskets. There's nobody that will put the corpse in the casket that the corpse will not enter the grave. Give that person a moderate burial. Please don't go and borrow money in the name of giving expensive burial to whoever that is, even if it's a parent. Don't do so.
I don't need I may want for some reason. I don't keep me book. I thought the same thing because the free will not petition though. It's will be book Pakistan. I believe man is riban because me bag give you some no go mark ba. Even a one phone. Then you get on the ebola no alabo. And I been able to we can make somebody in see burial. In them to sorry them tindia. I do very wrong. He can't be some. No bang with Pantino, been able to bang in Nam Pogo Kang in me. It makes sense.
Take it or leave it. Giving your loved ones a befitting living is far better than feeding the world at their funeral, as millions used can transform the lives of those who are still alive, according to my respondents. Iyagino Paul, Akbc News.
That's our package for this afternoon. But before we go, we take another look at the top stories. Following the directive of Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino on June edition of Government House Prayer to read the state of criminals and their activities, the Akwa Ibom State Government has cleared the thick forest at the former Uyomen Market, which served as a hideout for hoodlums and criminals. Yesterday was Father's Day, a day set aside to celebrate fathers and fatherhood around the world. To mark the day, some churches as well as organizations dressed to depict fatherhood and spoke on what it takes to be a father. That's our package. Thank you so much for being a part of it, and you have a great day. I am Blessing. It's on you.